Hi, and welcome to the Effective Interviewing Strategies for Hiring the Best People class. Before we begin, let's go over the materials for this class. You've all received a binder, which looks like this at the tables that you all just sat down at today. These binders include a copy of this presentation, along with various handouts and job aids that we will be introducing to you and using throughout today. Participation is highly encouraged in today's class, and we have several group and individual activities planned, which will give you the hands-on learning practice with the concepts learned today. Before we get started, let's take some time to get to know one another, since we're going to be spending all day together. I would like everyone to share their name, position, department, tenure with the bank, and your most memorable experience as a candidate, a recruiter, or a hiring manager, and what was your takeaway from that experience. Start off with the introductions to your tables in the smaller groups, and then once those introductions are taken care of, we'll introduce each other as a larger group. And in addition, one person from each table is going to present that most memorable moment, which you all agree kind of took the cake. So, a couple moments for some introductions. Okay. Great introductions, everyone. Thank you. I would like to ask the class, what is your purpose for coming today? Why did you sign up for this class through the Learning Center? What do you want to learn or become better at? I'm going to write down some of these answers as you all volunteer to give me your answer. We're going to go around the room again really quickly because what I'd like to do is just jot them down to put on a chart that we're going to refer back to at the end of this course to make sure that we fulfilled everyone's needs and wants and what they want to get out of this class. So I'll take a couple moments and jot all of your thoughts down on today. Alright, so we're going to refer back to this sheet, as I had mentioned, so thanks everyone for letting me know what you wanted to get out of today's class. So the purpose of today's class, aside from all of your wants, what I have prepared for today's agenda is to understand the recruitment process, because it's good to understand the bigger picture of what you're trying to accomplish. The interview process is just a small part of the entire process itself. Recognize the importance of an interview plan. You need to be well prepared. Understand how to develop behavior-based questions for your desired competencies in your job description. Collect measurable and meaningful responses to all interview questions. Make objective hiring decisions based on facts, not opinion. So it's very important to be objective rather than subjective. Identify interview questions you are allowed to ask and what you're not allowed to ask as well from a legal standpoint, because it's very important as well. So let's talk a little bit about the process. To meet those expectations, there is a process involved. Some managers say that within the first 5 minutes that they meet a candidate, they know that they're the right person. They have more than a gut feeling. But in today's class, we want to stay away from that theory because it's more than just a gut feeling. I want to ask everyone here, how many of you have hired a person or thought that was going to be a great fit? You hired a person, they're the perfect candidate, I'm so excited to have them started, and then you realize they turned out to be a very bad fit. Has this happened to anyone? And why do you think this happens? Was it that gut feeling that you went with initially? So anyone want to share some stories on that? Well, let's take a look at who benefits when we get the hiring process right and who is impacted when we as managers get it wrong. Let's take a few minutes and discuss the impacts of hiring the wrong person. So I'd like everyone to count off by 4s and get into some groups. Each of you have a flip chart per group, and I would like you to write the impacts for the following categories of people: existing employees, you as the manager, customers, and the department. And then we're going to share each group's answers with the larger group. Now that we reviewed the impact of hiring the wrong person, let's look at the benefits of hiring the right person. So there's a huge payoff to the company, our customers, managers, client, and our new employee. So per the PowerPoint in your binder, let's all take a look at some of those pieces that include hiring the right person. Great. Any questions on that? Let's talk about the interview process flow overall then. We often hear that one challenge you encounter when working to fill an open position is the time it takes to go from posting the job to the offer actually being given and accepted. This class is about how to most effectively use the time that you have with the candidates for your opening so that you can be confident in your selection based upon the objective criteria. Considering the process, it is imperative that you obtain the information you need about each candidate to ensure that you're selecting the best fit for your opening. Let's take a look at the interview process to fully understand everything that goes into it from A to Z. So again, to get that holistic view of what goes into it. So as you can see here, we contact our HR person about the open position, requisition is created, job posting is up on the internet, HR screen process, application resume review, then the scheduling of the interviews is taken care of. We conduct our interviews, we review all candidates and select the best candidate, and then the job offer is given to the candidate, either written and or verbally. So now that we understand a little bit more about the process, let's take a deeper dive into preparation. So we know that preparation and planning are key, but how do we get started? Let's start by talking about what tools we have available for us as managers to look at to fill the position, which are actually job description and resume, so things that are right at our fingertips. So what are we looking for in a job description? Without a clear and accurate understanding of the qualifications necessary for the job, the interviewing process, no matter how well conducted, will fail. Ask yourself the following questions. What will the person in this job have to do on a regular basis to succeed? What knowledge, skills, and behaviors are needed to successfully perform the duties of this job? These are essential competencies that the individual will need to possess to be successful. You may be asking yourself, though, what is a competency? Let's take out our worksheet, the competency analysis tool, which is in our binder under the handouts tab. So if everyone can please take out this form, we're going to do a quick activity to identify the behaviors that a candidate would possess to exhibit proficiency in a particular competency. I'll give you some time to complete the analysis on your own. And for those of you who don't finish, that's okay. We just want to get this started so that we can go over the results together. So let's take a couple moments. All right, great. Hope everyone liked that activity. What did you like about this exercise? And what were some of the challenges you had? Please talk about that amongst your group, your tables. Okay. The next step in the interview process is determining the candidate's competencies by reviewing their resume. When reviewing resumes, it's important to set aside enough time to thoroughly review. By reviewing the candidate's employment background, you will be able to draw some conclusions about the person's qualifications for the position. What are some things you look for in a resume? Let's take a look. Signs of achievement, stability, overall aesthetics, career goal aligns with the position, profit-minded. But what are some things that leave us with question marks? Gaps in background, typos, poor organization, little job hopping. So we definitely see a little bit of everything in resumes. So the next step in this process is to prepare behavioral-based questions based off the resume and job description. That way we can ask each candidate to some questions that aren't just yes or no. They're open-ended, and we take a deeper dive into who that person is. Let's take some time to practice applying some of the things we just discussed in the planning process. We've already determined that we need to identify competencies associated with the position by reviewing the job description. In your material packet, we have provided you with a tool to help you in this analysis. You have also been provided with a mock resume. So let's again go into our binder in our handout section and take a look at the next piece that we need to do. All right, so why doesn't everyone take a couple moments for that and fill out your own sheet using the resume and candidate review form to help you prepare for your interview. And again, discuss the pieces amongst your group, and then we'll share with the larger group as well. Okay, great. How many of you have been in an interview? Just by show of hands. Just as I suspected, everyone raised their hand. Now, who would like to share how you felt when you entered that interview? Put yourself in the place of the interviewee and ask yourself these questions. Why do people come into an interview nervous? Why is it important to get them to relax? What are some of the ways you can help them relax? Now think, where do you conduct your interview? A conference room, office, open area? And is it conducive to an interview? What are you paying attention to during the interview? Your phone, computer, or actually the interviewee? What does your body language look like to the interviewee? Are you smiling? Do you have your arms crossed? All of these things are important because it's important to create an atmosphere conducive to an interview, because that's part of having that effective interview. How you structure your interview is based on your own personal style. However, you should follow the same format for every interview. This will provide the consistency that is required to have an effective interview. So let's take a look at what these are. A greeting, icebreaker, opening, behavioral-based questions, and closing. That should be the structure. So the greeting should be a warm handshake, a friendly face. An opening should be something along lines where you set the tone of how the interview will be structured so that the interviewee doesn't have any surprises. Tell them that you will also be taking notes so they're not nervous or getting distracted by you taking notes as they answer questions. The behavioral-based questions piece, this again is just a type of question you'll be asking the candidate that are designed to be more conversational rather than just yes/no answers. And again, your closing, just let the candidate know what the future steps are going to be, what they should expect. So let's have a quick activity on the following questions that can be asked or not asked due to legal reasons. So thumbs up if you think a manager can ask a candidate this particular question, or thumbs down if you don't think they can because it's part of legal issues. Do you have any back problems? Your name sounds German, is it? What computer programs have you used? What do you like to do on the weekends? What part of the town do you live in? Do you have someone to take care of your children when they are sick? Do you have reliable transportation? You guys got that perfect. The thumbs up were exactly where they needed to be, and thumbs down were where they needed to be as well. Behavioral-based questions, to kind of go along in greater depth with that, they start with some of the following types of starters. So you might structure a question like, tell me about a time when, or how, why, what, where did you do something, and then you get into that. Explain to me. Give me an example of. Describe for me. So those are some of the ways to start a behavioral-based question. Use these types of questions to allow you to take a deeper dive into who your candidate really is and if they are a true fit for your position. So it's time to put these types of questions to the test. Locate your probing activities question exercise in your book. And take some time to review an example job description and resume and come up with 5 behavioral-based questions. Then you and a partner will review each other's via role play. Discuss the results of the skill practice with your partner and then be prepared to share with the larger group. Okay, so in conclusion, let's review. What are the key messages, concepts that we talked about today? Based on all the discussions that we had and all of the exercises that we did today, what are you going to do more of, less of, or differently? Let's go around the room and find out from everyone. So based on today's class, we reviewed the chart and it looks like we've got everyone's needs. Are there any other questions before the class ends? No? Well, thank you so much for joining the effective interviewing class.